how sweet it is to get a win in the desert. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com, and Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and literally anyone in the Bengals locker room said it this week coming into Sunday's game. It was a must-win against the Cardinals, and that is exactly what they did. They came in here to State Farm Stadium, got out to a 10-point lead early, responded when they fell behind 14-10, and ultimately the Bengals won 34-20 right here to improve to 2-3 on the season. And it was a huge, huge win. It was a record-setting day. There's so many things to hit on. Let's start with the guy who's always open, Jamar Chase. And honestly, I'm having deja vu because when I hear Jamar Chase talk about 7-11, him being always open or setting Bengals records, I think back to Chad Johnson. And Jamar did something today that Chad never did. No Bengals receiver has ever done. 15 catches, breaking Carl Pickens' record of 13 receptions in a game. Carl did it way back in 1998. Today, Jamar Chase bested it with 15 receptions on 19 targets, 192 yards, and not one, not two, but 3 touchdowns, including a 63-yard touchdown that I think gave everybody the confidence that, okay, the Bengals, they're going to win this game. It was the opening drive of the third quarter, and, man, it was a beautiful ball by Joe Burrow. One of the better throws we've seen from him, the best throw we've seen from him this season, because Chase had to put on the jets, the afterburners, to make sure that he caught it in stride, coasted into the end zone, and that was the type of day it was for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I was asked about this team on Friday, and I've done various radio hits. You've heard me on here, but radio hits, interviews, and it's like, what do you think about the Bengals? And I said, look, they're a flawed team, there's no doubt. But as they're working through things, the last thing I'm going to do is doubt Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, because I've seen it time and time and time again, and they did it again today. Joe Burrow was great today. The movement in the pocket was back. The scrambling ability was back. The first down extension and drop the ball was back. And the swagger was back. All of it was back today. And I was talking to various players in the locker room, and they never wanted to admit that Joe wasn't, but ever left, right, to say that he was back. But clearly Joe felt much better today than he did last week, was moving around, was accurate, 36 of 46, was really accurate with the ball. The interception Trenton Irwin stumbled on, and that's why it was an interception. But Joe Burrow, 36 of 46 for 300 and I'm missing it now. I think it was 316 yards, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. It was great. And he was wearing the Jordan cleats, and I know people noticed them in my pregame videos of Joe Burrow. And this is what you expect. Joe Burrow afterwards saying this game sort of felt like the New Orleans game last year, where they knew they had to have it. And last year, Joe and Jamar put the team on their back. They did it again today. The Bengals improved to 2-3 on the year, and they're only a game out in the AFC North standings. That's what's crazy. The Ravens lost to the Steelers today. So it's Steelers 3-2, Ravens 3-2, Browns 2-2, Bengals 2-3, all real tight against each other. And we could get into tiebreakers and all that. Plenty of time for that. But the point is, Bengals gained a game in the division today. This was a huge win. I agreed with Chase and Burrow that it was a must-win. And defensively, the thing that I like today, because there's a lot on offense and defense they can correct, but the thing I liked about this defense today is they bent, and they bent some more. And those back-to-back touchdown drives by the Cardinals in the second quarter, you're like, okay, explosive plays, big runs, deep passes. How do you respond? And they responded. Late in the second half, Cam Taylor-Britt, it's on the goal line. It's actually on this goal line right here. Cam Taylor-Britt, actually, we're looking right at you. You see the 10-yard line? He caught it on the 11 right here. And huge interception with the Cardinals on the 2. 11-yard interception, return for a touchdown. The pick six gave the Bengals the lead for good, 17-14, and it really swung the momentum because the Cardinals had just gotten a goal line stop. Joe Mixon running the ball from the 1-yard line on 3rd and 4th down, couldn't get it in the end zone. And so it's like, man, if you go into the half or you give up points here and you're down, you're going to feel a lot of pressure. And instead, Cam Taylor-Britt in this defense answered, got pressure on Dobbs. The ball hits Cam Taylor-Britt. By the way, we have a one-on-one that will drop on Monday with Cam Just talked to him in the Bengals locker room a short time ago, and that was the type of play that this defense needed. Yes, it wasn't pretty at times. They gave up some explosives, but they responded. And they responded the right way, and they made a big play, and that gave the Bengals the momentum. And so the Bengals, you go into halftime 17-14, and they come out, and it's the 63-yard bomb from Burrow to Chase. And just like that, it's 24-14. You have some wiggle room. So even though you give up a touchdown, this defense does, you're not trailing. You're not playing from behind. You're not trying to catch up. The Bengals offense answered and continued to play at a high level, continued to move the ball, and then the defense sealed the deal with 2 turnovers forced in the fourth quarter. This was as close to a complete team win, a complimentary football win, whatever you want to say, as we've seen this year from this team. That needs to continue. It needs to trend in the right direction. And you think about it, they were missing their top corner in Chidobe Awuzie, one of their top receivers in T. Higgins, and they were able to put up a performance like this today. Huge, huge, huge. Trenton Irwin certainly deserves a ton of credit for just being a safety net for Joe Burrow, had multiple nice grabs in traffic. Early on, the first drive of the game when the Bengals are moving the ball down the field, it was the Irwin Chase show. Joe Mixon had a couple nice catches as well, and it really helped Joe Burrow get into a rhythm. 7 for 7 on that drive for 56 yards. Started 10 for 10 and 11 for 12. Was really in a rhythm early. Then it tailed off a little bit, and then boom, he got right back into it, hit Jamar for the deep touchdown, and looked like himself. I like the Jordans, by the way, the Jordan cleats. That's probably what he should rock every single week. We'll see if he does and he keeps it up moving forward, but certainly a fan of that, and certainly a fan of the way this team played. It's not perfect. Joe Burrow hit on that. Zach Taylor hit on that. That's fine. Didn't have to be perfect today. It needed to be a win, and it was a win. And this offense came alive. Joe Burrow exceeded my expectations for him today. Jamar Chase, you just never count that guy out. You never count Joe and Jamar out. And they balled out today. Trenton Irwin had their back. Andre Yosevich had his first career catch. Kwame Lassiter had his first career catch. And why that's cool is because Kwame Lassiter's father played here in Arizona, had 4 interceptions in a game to help the Cardinals clinch a playoff spot way back in 1998. I want to say it was the late 90s. But, yeah, it was really cool for him to be a captain today and then to also get a catch late in the game. So this Bengals team, they're 2-3. Still flawed, still got to work through some things. Hopefully they can get healthy because they have a tough matchup against the Seahawks next week. We know how good that Seattle team has been over the past year plus. They're 3-1 right now on their bye week. So this was a step in the right direction. The Bengals return home, and they've won 2 out of 3. For as weird as it is and as ugly as that Titans game was, they've won 2 out of 3, and I think they're feeling pretty darn good going back home to Cincinnati. We have you covered all season long, all week long. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, check out what Joe Burrow had to say, what Zach Taylor had to say after the game, what Jamar Chase had to say, what Trenton Irwin had to say, plus one-on-one with Cam Taylor-Britt dropping on Monday. And if you're looking for more, you know I got you covered. Allbengals.com, the Locked On Bengals podcast. It's going to do it for me. For Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien signing off here at State Farm Stadium where the Bengals beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-20. As always, thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.